remember moments that go beyond our family too. Moments like, actually, I've been old enough in U.S. culture, I remember the fact that John F. Kennedy was shot. He was a president of the United States. I was alive then. I remember where I was. Or when Ronald Reagan was shot, or for all of us in America, we remember when the World Trade Towers were hit. 9/11, and the day the world kind of stood still. There are moments you just take pictures and you remember it. Guys, I'd like to tell you that I think you're sitting at a moment where you're going to remember when you began to take Knights of the 21st Century. I truly believe that what we're about to embark on together is going to change how you do life. And if it changes how you do life, and the man you are and the character of who you are, as we change together, as I change and you change and we become, I actually believe we change the world around us. You're really excited about that. Do you know that almost everything we do in the area of pleasure lasts about 7 minutes? For some of us, it's a lot shorter in certain areas of our lives, but every amount of pleasure seems to be taking place in about 7 minutes. I mean, it's pleasurable to have sex, it's pleasurable to eat, it's pleasurable to get rid of food most of the time unless you're having a bad day. Men kind of revolve around this whole idea of pleasure. It's all about me, and that's what a Hispanic male is. It all kind of centers around his universe and what makes him happy and makes him satisfied. Had this amazing moment with God. Woke up one morning and God just basically said, you got to let the past go. It was as if suddenly, in the midst of all the confusion of the world around me, God kind of stepped in a very personal encounter. And he said, I'm going to give you a new trail. I'm going to give you a trail that you're going to understand, that you're going to be able to step in. And that trail suddenly made the forest make sense to me. Now, sometimes I have to change the forest and what's going on. And sometimes I have to throw my rock in and change the flow of the water. But there are some days where what I need to do is find out where are the markers on the trail to move me through it. That's sort of what we want to talk about. That was a key day for me. Things actually changed. The trail suddenly became clear. I sort of knew where to go. Things started to make sense for me. And things began to rapidly change in the next few days and weeks that brought clarity. It was as if suddenly the trail that I couldn't see, I could suddenly see. When you as a guy just feel like you're not satisfied, you're grumpy, you're edgy, you get depressed. How did you get that way? Well, because you've lived in a rut that you don't have to live in, but you believe that's your rut. You believe that's where you're going to live. You're not designed to live there, guys. You're not. You're actually not. As a knight, you're designed to develop, become. I don't want to be the man I was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 days ago. I want to grow and develop. Do you want to be the guy you've always been? The question is not just what have you and I experienced. It's caused us to put certain pieces of armor on to protect ourselves. Maybe the question is a little bit deeper for us. The question is, what kind of father am I? Maybe you're not ready to be a father yet. Maybe you're not old enough to be a father yet. Or maybe just functionally you've already raised your children or whatever it is. What kind of father am I is a great question. Do I make people put more armor on when I walk in a room? People that shouldn't have to when I walk in a room? Here's what your sons need to hear. I love you. I'm proud of you. And tell them what they're good at. You know what your daughters need to hear? I will always love you. I will always be on your side. I'll always be there for you. That is a man who has learned to use his armor efficiently, to allow those that he cares for to feel like that's a man they want to grow close to. The God of the universe, by the way, has said those things to us. And that's what brings us into a relationship with him that allows our armor to change. So, we have armor. We also have chainmail. We'll talk about that next week. The question is, how much armor are you going to need? What are you going to do with it? Start talking about it. Start thinking about it. Start being deliberate about it, because it'll free you up to become what you're designed to be. Thanks for joining us.